Shauketaly.
A very good morning to you. This is NEWSLINE Live. We're broadcasting from the Newsfirst studios in Dorset Street in Colombo. And this morning, we must start really with a rather somber note, because the ugly head of ragging gone wrong has once again raised its head. And this time round, a promising young man, a straight A student, who'd only lost his mother a couple of weeks before his A-level exams and went on to get straight A's, has been the latest victim of ragging gone wrong, indicating to me that leadership has gone wrong, gone missing. To discuss leadership issues, politics, and everything else surrounding it, we've got here with us President's Counsel, Maitri Gunratna. Very good morning to you, Maitri.
Morning, Faraz.
It's a sad situation when you see young people, ever so promising, struck down by fate. Is it fate? Is it a total lack of leadership?
Faraz, I think it is mainly indiscipline, which has now gone into all segments of society. And with regard to ragging, it is a shame, because for us, most of these students who are in universities, especially the local universities, are the ones who end up in the government service of this country. And when you see their conduct, I of course feel their minds are warped, absolutely warped, for them to rag in this manner. So once they finish their university and they come to public service, you can just imagine what contribution they can make in public service. And today, I feel the country is in this position because there are people with such warped minds. The moment they get into top positions, and with their warped minds or the warped attitudes they have, what happens is everything does not flow properly thereafter.
So it all sort of filters in, it seeps into the rest of the system.
Definitely, definitely. So for us, when you look at why we are in this state today, the country, I mean the politicians are also partly responsible. But what about the state sector? The bureaucrats. The bureaucrats consist of the running of the state. Politician or the minister, as I think Dr. Colvinadi Silva had said, is like a peon between the cabinet and the ministry. He only takes the cabinet papers to the takes the cabinet papers for approval and brings it back. But it's the secretary and the other officials who run the ministry, run the country. So basically, anyone who says they don't have powers or whatever, the ministry secretary is the most powerful person in any ministry. He's the chief accounting officer. So now, when these people consist of guys who have come from universities, and if they have been involved in this process and
of ragging
and this warped behavior,
it's warped.
It's absolutely warped behavior. Then what do you expect from them? That is the question. And today we are in this state. I feel for us it's because of that. Irrespective of the minister, irrespective of the government in power, if the officials decide that they are going to do an honest job of work for the betterment of the people of this country, they have all the authority to do so. They choose not to do it. They choose not to do it. On several occasions for us, I have come on this show with regard to procedure. Tender, especially tender procedure. With regard to the coal tender, we have discussed this extensively. The central bank, we have discussed it extensively.
The conscience of the Supreme Court was stirred.
That's right. So now, what I'm saying is for us, when they don't follow procedure, when these people are all involved in the process, they abuse the procedure. And for us, the surprising thing is this: they always follow the book. They refer to this AR, this FR, not to do something. But if they are given money for us, if they are given a backhander, then what happens is all FRs and ARs are disregarded, all procedures are flouted, and they just see that the person who gave them the money is delivered with whatever
their
requirement is. So
what I don't want to delve too long about this, but what are the student unions doing? Surely they represent the students.
For us, I think the student unions are part of the ragging process. That's why the student unions are a union not to facilitate and make things better for the university student. They are a irritant in the education process, I would say. They are always there to demand for something which is unreasonable maybe, and not to make the journey a smooth journey.
Is there any evidence to suggest that these students, these young minds, that they're in the process of being warped by political interest? Is there any evidence to say that they belong to the JVP or to any other party?
For us, the JVP always have seen to it that they hunt out and get cadres from universities, because I think there are a lot of students who come from backward villages from all over the country. So they can easily fall prey to this JVP slogans and JVP ideology. I feel most of it, the JVP has to take responsibility, because they are the ones who have delayed the education of these students. Some of them have lost as much as 5-6 years, and others have sometimes lost their lives. They have been physically injured. Over and above that, they have lost so many years, and the country has lost the benefit of these students coming and serving the country. Furthermore, the students themselves, a degree which they had to finish in 3 or 4 years, sometimes is prolonged to 5 years, 10 years, 12 years.
Goodness me.
Yeah, I'm telling you. This is what happens. And just imagine for us, when an education institution is closed. Now, you would have even recently recalled slightest unrest in the universities. The deans, what they do is they close the university. So when you close the university, what happens? What happens for the lectures? Then
everything is pushed back.
Everything is pushed back.
And not only for them, because the next year's intake.
Definitely. And then again they come back around and say no private education institutions, no medical colleges. I mean, where do we go? Who wants to, even a person for us who has a little money or who has no money, would want to even sell their property and go into a private school without to avoid all this kind of harassment.
Indeed. Thank you very much for sending your questions in by SMS. 0772 300 305, card up on your screen now. Sorry, beg your pardon. Here we go. One of the ones that we've received over the last few minutes. On your news last night, you would have seen that 4 or 5 representing the students' union, which included a bhikkhu. It's a darn shame that people like that are entrusted with looking after one of our most precious commodities, our children. They look rabid, uncouth, and God knows which holes they crept out of. With people like that, we weep for our country.
Definitely, I totally agree with that, Faraz. And Faraz, now when you see these students, do you want to? Would the private sector ever want to employ one of them in the private sector? The manner in which they are dressed, the manner in which they behave, the manner in which they talk. So that is perfectly correct. That is perfectly correct.
Somebody else is saying authorities should ban those involved for life from universities, besides any legal action and punishments thereon.
I totally agree. They have to take very, very stringent measures and stop this ragging, stop this warped behavior at any cost.
Ragging is also done in the best universities in the world. However, it is done to bring camaraderie.
For us, this I don't know whether the proper word is ragging, but it is a process to get to know the new new guys.
It's supposed to be done in fun.
It is supposed to be done in fun. Now, I was in law college when I was in the final year. There was a new batch which came, and I mean there was something called ragging. I mean it is nothing like what it is here, but it was in fun. We got to know them. It was a fun.
Check how sporty they were.
Sporty they were, and we had catwalks and things like that.
Right.
And even now, sometimes when I go out to outstation courts, I meet some of the lady lawyers, and they come and say, that was a very, very nice time we had, because it was not done with malice.
Right.
It was done with all good intentions.
It was done in the spirit of fun.
and we did one thing more. All the known guys were exempt from ragging, but they were told that they had to take us for lunch.
Oh, I see. So there were deals being cut even then, Maitri Gunaratna. Well, there you go. So where are you going to? Where is it going to end? Now that and it's very sad to see what's happened to this young man, and but it leads us to this other issue, which is the fundamental issue, which is one of leadership and a commitment to good governance. The student union are failing at that, and like you point out, when they enter public service, God only knows what awaits all of us when that happens. And all of this is also reflective within our political parties, whereas all our parties are going through all sorts of crises now. The Port were not left alone from this, they have their own. But what about the United National Party? Why isn't Mr. Wickramasinghe paving the way for a new leader?
For us, that has been a problem which has existed for the last maybe 10 years, from 2010. But since of late, he has made compromises where he let Mr. Sajith Premadasa contest the presidential election. And then thereafter, he even handed over the leadership of the...
This is like Chinese torture, if I may say so.
No, for us, but I feel at least those are great victories which they have achieved.
Right.
But with regard to what is happening now, I think it's a crying shame, because for us, the present government, the present president, they are asking for a 2/3 majority from this country. And I think I've said this before, and I want to say it again. Remember that there are 3 brothers who are running this country. Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa, Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa, Chamal Rajapaksa. One is president, other is prime minister, other is defense minister. And over and above that, they are asking for 2/3 majority. So far as we know, what happened in between 2010 and 2015. The Constitution, the 18th amendment was brought, and the Constitution was amended so that they can continue for eternity. So all these bad experiences we have, and are we seriously going to give them this 2/3 majority? So that is the question the principal opposition party, the United National Party, and all other opposition parties, including the JVP, will have to answer. If we do not get together at this election, I feel democracy is at peril.
That's not just you saying something that is because of elections.
No, for us, no, certainly not. For us, you have been at the receiving end of a bullet. Am I right? So do you want that to happen again? At least for us, Yahapalne government, I mean, it was not the best government we have had. But one thing is established with that government. There was freedom of expression. Freedom of the media. I think media had too much of freedom.
Well, so did they. I mean, they went to they, as in parliamentarians, they used used parliamentary privilege and to name people to shame people, and then didn't back it up with a shred of evidence in any court of law.
Yeah, no, correct. Argument's sake for us, what I'm saying is, so my main issue is this 2/3. Are we going to give unlimited power to the brothers? This is the issue each and everyone has to answer. This is the issue even members of the port tour who are supporting the port tour.
Yeah.
They know that this is going to be difficult times. It is going to be difficult times for even them if they give 2/3 majority to this to the family. So therefore, at any cost, all of us have to forget our differences and unite to prevent this 2/3 going into for this government.
But one Sarat and Silva gave the order I think it was in the matter of Royterborg Lagama, in which he said it was all right to do a crossover as long as it was the president asking for that crossover to serve as in a ministerial role.
Yeah, Faraz, Sarat and Silva, I think has done irreparable damage, not only with regard to that case, but many cases. After having become Chief Justice, he started playing politics, which is certainly not the role of a Chief Justice.
Right.
And he had the I would say the shame to come and admit in public that there were certain decisions which he made which was wrong. He admitted it. He at least.
But it's a bit rich, isn't it? Because he's made that decision, people still living with that.
I know, but there is nothing that you can. There is nothing that you can do.
And when one such decision was the unfortunate incident about the Saudi Arabian funded $15 million free of charge gift to the people in and around Akarai Pattu. 500 homes, complete, with community hall, everything, school, all sorts of things, complete. And not even a dog lives there today.
Yeah, so
because of some order preventing them from handing over those homes.
Because for us, he was trying to curry favor with the powers at the time, and he was in the apex court trying to help them. So I feel even this decision with regard to these crossovers, how can you justify that? How can anyone say because the president called they can go and that is perfectly legal? If he had given a proper judgment for us, our country would have been much more stable, and the members of parliament would have never crossed over because they would have lost their seat, and we would have had a stable government, and politics wouldn't have been so corrupt. Because for us, what is going to happen is, with regard to these 2/3, when I talk about it, people are saying that no, they are not going to get 2/3, they will get about 125, 130. But for us, you saw how the horse dealing which took place in the last few years.
Yes.
MPs were being bought for 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 million, 50 million, they were buying MPs. So to buy 15 to 20 MPs is not a great big deal. So the horse dealing will start, they will get the 2/3, so people are going to be at the receiving end again. That is the long and short of giving this government 2/3 majority. So we need Mr. Ranil Wickramasinghe, Mr. Sajith Premadasa, Mr. Anuradha Dissanayake, all of these gentlemen need to come to terms and put aside everything, all the political differences, and get together. Now you take the JVP, okay, they are taking a neutral role, independent role. What is their purpose? Is it their purpose to see this country going into anarchy? Is it their purpose to see that democracy is completely buried?
Yes. Now, isn't it true that the perfect opportunity has sort of manifested itself, and that's in with the SJB, the Samagi Jana Balawege.
Yeah.
Now, with that, and with Sajith Premadasa heading it, and the one man who appears, who's not had, I've never come across any allegations of sort of corruption.
In fairness, I don't think he has any allegations of corruption. No one can point that out at him.
Exactly, and therefore, isn't it now with this new, the new sort of alliance, if you like, the new party, isn't it a wonderful opportunity for him to leave aside the bad bags,
Oh, definitely.
the
Definitely.
tainted
Definitely.
brushes,
Definitely.
and leave aside those people and then go ahead with what you would call a nice, clean team,
A refreshing team.
a refreshing team.
Definitely, Faraz. I totally agree with you. No, what I'm saying is, Faraz, it is as an opposition. You know, the opposition has to take the brunt of it. The opposition has to take the brunt of this two-thirds issue. So to make it look complete, make the whole picture look complete.
Yeah.
That is what I'm saying. All of them must unite. All of them must unite. But there is certainly a point in what you say. If they can separate
Yeah.
the good from the bad,
Yeah.
I think that's what you're trying to
Yes,
say.
I'm saying that you can
separate it, I mean,
you can separate the men from the gentlemen.
That's right. Or the corrupt from the uncorrupt.
Absolutely.
The corrupt from the uncorrupt. Then I think that has manifested for us. Now the issue is now I have been in Badulla for the last 5-6 days, and I've been going to the various electorates and various places to talk to the general public and the support base. Now what they are asking is there some kind of hidden agenda to divide the opposition by not supporting Mr. Sajid Premadasa? Now these are normal village people who are asking this. What they are asking is the UNP having given the working committee having approved the Samaki Janabala Vegaya, having nominated Sajid as its leader, as the prime ministerial candidate, having nominated Mr. Ranjit Magdum Bandara as the secretary, having ratified the position. Why are they now trying to contest separately? That is the issue. Why are they now trying to contest separately? So,
can I give an answer?
Yeah.
Which I think might be right. I don't know. It is to hang on to power for the sake of power.
Faraz, yeah, but Faraz, now why do you need to hang on to power when you can get total power by uniting? Now,
Lack of confidence on the part of Mr. Wickramasinghe, for example.
No, but Faraz, the agreement which was reached is that he was going to be put in the national list, and he will as number 1 slot on the national list, and he will be in parliament. So I mean, I can't see anything wrong in that. If he's not the prime ministerial candidate, if the working committee of the UNP has given it unanimously decided and given it to Mr. Sajid Premadasa, I can't see why firstly Mr. Wickramasinghe does not need to contest. I mean, he has contested all elections and he has come right on top.
540,000
votes. Time. Yeah, he has come right on top. So I can't see any reason why he can't go on the national list. And if anyone is trying to say that, okay, this is not going to happen, they are not going to put his name onto the national list, I don't think Mr. Sajid Premadasa...
Is he frightened, do you think? Is he frightened or concerned? Let's use another word, concerned. Is he concerned that if he loses his position of power, he won't be able to protect himself and his mates from the ongoing bond scam affair?
The only interpretation you can give for that is, for us, if that is so, there is serious allegations which they can bring upon themselves, or they are guilty of, and those allegations are being shown and they are being blackmailed for them to filibuster this whole affair.
You say, and there is people who say that Mahinda Rajapaksa is protecting Ranil Wickramasinghe and vice versa. But in that case, if you look at Batalanda, President Kumaratunga, if she'd let everything go, in the natural course, Mr. Wickramasinghe would have been facing ruin. But for some reason or other, Mrs. Kumaratunga didn't proceed with that. and it just kind of died an almost natural death.
Like all other inquiries and
Like all other
presidential inquiries and
exactly.
all commissions.
Indeed. And so then what are we going to say? Did Mrs. Kumaratunga protect Rani Wickramasinghe? Is it again believable that MR is protecting him?
Well, Faraz,
Like, remember the road in front of Srikota?
this is no, Faraz, I of course firmly believe that Mr. Wickramasinghe has a very good relationship with the Rajapaksa administration.
Yeah.
I think that is undoubtedly, it has been proved many times that it is perfectly the relationship is a strong relationship. Well, that protection is there, and now there is one question. I don't want to bring this out for us because there are very sensitive negotiations which are going, and as far as I'm concerned, I am prepared to bury all hatchets and rally all forces
in the interest of not giving the two-thirds.
So therefore, I wouldn't want to comment on those because that is not going to help the process.
But it is serious enough for you all to be really, really concerned.
Definitely for us, it is seriously. Every citizen has to be concerned, and I know there are people who are sick of the system, and they are saying that they are not going to vote.
Yeah.
But now these are the people who are doing the biggest damage to the country by not voting. You have to vote. If you do not vote, what is going to happen is this status quo is going to prevail. Two-thirds majority may go to them, and then thereafter, even I don't think God can help the country.
The dangerous Sri Lanka virus is RW and the Rajapaksas. They should be sent to quarantine on a permanent basis. God bless. Do you agree with that? Ranil does not qualify to be nominated even on a national list as per the Balavegia policy of clean team.
Well, all these policies for us are subject to exceptions. There is every rule has its exception. To get this thing going, to get the show going, to prevent the two-thirds going, there are certain compromises you have to make. So I feel, politics is a game of compromise, and you may be having the best intentions in mind, but you need to get all together, all on board. So when it comes to getting all on board, there are certain compromises you have to make, and you have to be flexible. I think even if there is serious concerns due to getting a united team together, you need to make compromises and take these people, take Mr. Wickramasinghe with us and take the matter forward.
Can't leave dear Ranil in the lay-by, you mean?
You can't. Because in the interest of having a united front, you need to make compromises.
What happens if he gets investigated by the AG?
Yeah, but there is a presumption of innocence until you are proven guilty. So that's a process that must carry on. The process must go on.
And what about this symbol? What are you doing? You're supporting Mr. Premadasa. What symbol are you going to use?
For us, they are trying to get either the elephant symbol or the swan symbol.
Right.
But Mr. Wickramasinghe is making that a show point, and they are trying to squabble over that.
So he's being difficult again.
I feel there is some kind of bargaining, hard bargaining, which is taking place. But I feel, having met the grassroots level support base, I feel the symbol does not matter. If we can educate the people with the dangers of giving this two-thirds majority, dangers of giving total power to one family, and this government for the last 3 months, I don't think has been able to perform as expected. So therefore, with these things lurking in the background, the opposition has a good fighting chance to gain power, and the Samagi Janabala Vegia has the opportunity of becoming the main party, or Mr. Sajid Premadasa he has a good chance of becoming the Prime Minister if this is fought scientifically.
Are you saying that the three brothers can control another at least 111 other people?
For us, now you take this election. This election, I'm told, another a total of about 12 or 13 people very closely connected to the Rajapaksa family is going to contest.
Very closely
connected to the Rajapaksa family. Now, as it is, Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa will be in Parliament.
Yeah.
Mr. Chamal Rajapaksa is going to be in Parliament.
Yeah.
Sashindra Rajapaksa is going to be in Parliament.
Well, if he wins.
Yeah, but it's
Is it a foregone conclusion?
Foregone conclusion. Namal Rajapaksa is going to be in Parliament.
Okay.
And they say then now there is another Rajapaksa boy who's in the Navy who's coming in. So Yoshito, I think Yoshito
One
Rajapaksa.
of the sons.
That's one of the sons.
Yeah.
So that is five.
Right.
5 direct descendants of the Rajapaksas.
Yeah.
Then there are other.
Can it be argued?
Then Nirupama Rajapaksa.
Oh. Okay.
6. So these are the names which come to my mind.
Right.
So with this process, there will be so many people who are related and connected to them. It is something like 15 in the family. So out of 100 for us, you have got 10 or 15% of the power. And mind you, Namal Rajapaksa will be coming from Hambantota. Mr. Mahinda Rajapaksa is coming from Kurunegala. Then they say Yoshita is going to come from the Ampara district, Digamadulla. So all of these people are taking various districts. So they will, and invariably they will pump in so much of money for the campaign. They will come first. They will be a force to be reckoned with. So the other MPs and other ministers will be total puppets.
The phone symbol could resonate well with the people, as it is also the absence of answering the phone with integrity that causes the UNP losses, unless the UNP scandalizes the phone symbol badly. Somehow I don't know if the optics is right if Ranjan Ramanayake was seen with the telephone, even if it is a baked, like old-fashioned telephone.
It is, I think, old-fashioned telephone. It is one of those
old, lovely old
ones you turn.
Yes.
It's the symbol is something like that.
So it doesn't got any recording devices on there.
No, certainly not. I think that's where Ranjan has clung on to it.
I see. Well, you know what? Finally, we're just days and days. I think tomorrow the nominations close tomorrow.
No, for us, nominations will commence on the 12th.
Yes, they
12th.
start tomorrow.
They start tomorrow and it will close on the 19th.
Right. So do you think by tomorrow we'll be all sorted?
No. This is not going to end. I would say it will, if at all.
No, but surely when you're handing in the nomination, don't you have to tell them your symbol?
Yeah, no, that won't be an issue. The symbol will come in only after nominations are handed over.
Okay.
And the election starts on the 19th. Everything closes on the 19th. The symbol will have to come out for us.
Right. So you're hopeful that this is all be done and dusted?
In the interest of
Stopping
democracy.
the two-thirds.
And democracy in the country, establishing and protecting democracy in the country, I feel all parties must compromise, bring about a settlement, all parties must get together and face this election, having prevented the brothers of getting total power, then we can go our own ways thereafter.
And does this mean that part of these compromises means that we can let everyone forget about get the whole of the country to have collective amnesia and forget the bond scam?
We don't need to do that for us because that is a process, a legal process. And if you have committed any crime, you don't have to forget it, that the process will start. The problem in this country is the processors are not quite, the processors are not strong enough to continue irrespective of who has committed the wrong. That is the problem. The process is a respecter of people. That is the irony we have come into.
And you're campaigning out in the hills.
In the Badulla district.
What are the people saying? What's the main problem? Is it the economy?
For us, cost of living is a huge problem. Agriculture is badly affected. People have no markets, no fertilizer, no markets. Then the drought is again another problem. Fortunately, in the Maihangana district and in those areas, there is water. Mahavali waters are going into most of those areas, so they are quite okay. But when you take Badulla itself, although it's a catchment area where most of the rain is supposed to fall, now there is so much of deforestation there, and the heat is unbearable. So therefore, for us, the people are concerned, and it is the duty of the politicians to educate the people with regard to the dangers they are faced with in the future.
This is the last question. I must finish now. Why is Ranil Wickremesinghe not giving the UNP leadership to Sajid Premadasa? This alone speaks out loud that he does not want to step down as the leader of the UNP and still wants to be the party leader. How come the party nomination of a presidential or a prime minister candidate not being the leader of the party?
For us, this is one issue with regard to, I think, being wanting to hang on. Like I think maybe Robert Mugabe, 90 years, still hang on. This is not the first time this is happening in the world. There are other I think many African leaders who have hung on to power for a long time. This is the unfortunate thing for us. I mean, you must know when to call it. I mean, now see people like Arjuna Ranatunga. He called it a day. He thought it was a good time for him to go, and at the time he decided to go, people asked why is he going. They didn't wait and ask when is he going to go. So these are things I think leaders and every one of us must realize that when you come to the top, you have to now decide that you have to go, and when you go, you have to stay at home. I think now even President Sirisena, he after 5 years he's going back to the political for elections, and you know I mean it's not nice to see how people are taking him to task and defaming him. So these are they must realize that when you have gone to the apex position in this country, I don't think you should come back and start getting involved at the beginning of the process and start again. I think that should not happen.
Indeed. Maitri Gunaratne, thank you very much for being on the program. And that's the way it was on Newsline Live. Take care, have a wonderful day ahead of you, and of course, God bless.
37.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shauketaly.